Okay, everyone, I think we've got about 7:34 roughly. So we'll call the meeting of the Royal Astronomical Society Edmonton Center, April 14th meeting. We'll call it to order. Just one kind of quick joke just to start the evening off. It's a hard one to say, other things on my mind, but anyway, Freddie Mercury, Venus Williams, and Bruno Mars walk into a bar. They didn't plan it that way. Oh, I know, that was bad. Okay, so first item on our agenda tonight is the March 10th meeting minutes. They have been posted on the members area on our website. Has anybody got any errors or omissions on that to add to it, delete it? I don't see anyone. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes that's posted on the members area of the website? Okay, who did that? Oh, okay. Do I have a seconder? Jay, thank you. All in favor? All opposed? Carried. Okay. Next item on the agenda, we're inviting Alistair Ling up to the podium to talk about Bruce McCurdy.
Thank you. Okay, well, this is very difficult for a few of us. Our very dear friend, Bruce McCurdy, has passed away unexpectedly with a heart attack and has left his wife, Anna, and son, Kevin. They're on the Zoom tonight. But for us, those of us who've been in the center for a long time, Bruce has been in the center for a very long time, and we're finding it very difficult to just sort of accept everything going on. Now, I guess I have to click here. There we go. So I'll let you read most of this. You can read faster than I can talk. Bruce has done so much here, a huge volunteer at the observatory, also nationally with Dark Sky Preserves, Alberta Science Network, hundreds of presentations at schools, taking meteorites in and letting the kids touch them and doing a lot of that type of thing. He was at the deck just recently for the total eclipse of the moon. And other people will know Bruce through his hockey work and just an amazing Oilers fan. Never in doubt was his most recent and sort of last thing that he said to some of us, he had a very strong appreciation of music, covering a whole whack of styles and eras, very deeply knowledgeable about all of that. A very wide range of interests. He pioneered the Isabel Williamson Lunar Observing Program for the national site. So it's a certificate that you can go out and earn. And the picture on the right was something where he'd be doing his daily walks and just go, oh, isn't that cool? It's just the shadows from a bank of snow. But the bank of snow is just sort of undulating stuff, but with a low sun angle, you get these jagged peaks, just as you would on the moon. So Bruce was always having a wonderful eye to notice things like this out in nature. He was a supreme observer of noctilucent clouds, along with the wonderful team of Mark Zalchik and Mike Noble. And Mike, of course, passed just a couple of 3 years ago. And this would be one of those things where Bruce would always be up late, very much a night owl, and he'd be checking for noctilucent clouds throughout summer when the rest of us were in bed sleeping. Meteors. He did a lot of things with meteors. One year, I accompanied him on most of the meteor trips where the handbook has this list of all the major meteor showers. And he wanted one year, it's like, let's try and see all of them. And as you can see here from just a simple Google search, especially at the bottom there, the only observation around solar longitude 141 for that particular event comes from Bruce. So he's one of these stalwart, dependable meteor observers. And he always had a way with words. One of my favorite expressions that I heard him say about the Lyrids is, let's see if I can get it right. I've never failed to be disappointed about the Lyrids. In many ways, the Lyrids are sort of, it's the first major meteor shower of the year, coming up in a couple of weeks here, 20 meteors per hour at maximum just before dawn. And sometimes like, no, yet again.
Persea in the southeast, 2nd magnitude. Oh my, that was a real nice one. Went firing right by Vega, almost through Vega. Nothing that really lasted at all. I almost got a sense of a double.
So that was a short audio clip that Bruce took all these audios and then later transcribed them and then sent them in, the observations into the International Meteor Organization. And that's Bruce on his zero gravity chair on the left at the recent Perseid meteor shower. And we had an odd time at that one because at one point we just gave up because the aurora was just so bright but not doing a lot. It was interesting on time lapse, but just visually all it was doing was obscuring everything, and we could barely see first magnitude stars from a really dark site. He's also very interested in eclipses, anything with patterns. And here we are a few years ago. We tried to chase the clouds out east and got to Vegreville, and we had just a little bit of it as it was coming out of totality. For those of you who read the Journal of the RASC, you would know him from his orbital oddities, and Bruce was a numbers person, just like he is with hockey statistics and stuff. And he would see patterns and talk about things like, quintuple conjunctions of Venus and Mercury. And I made up this diagram for him. That wasn't his forte, but his forte was knowing where to look for these things and saying, "Hey, could you plot this diagram?" It's like, "Oh, okay, sure." And then, "Oh, cool. There's to see these sort of patterns coming out." And another one, the table at right. And of course, it's the sort of thing, "Oh, I put these ones in italics to help them jump out from the page." And most of us are, what? And so he developed quite a good relationship with the astronomer Jean Meus, who did a lot of these things. But very few people had the mind and the eye that Bruce had. He also had an eye, again, for the unusual. One morning at Mount Kobau, after a long night of observing, we were finishing our session while watching the dawn twilight and waiting for sunrise. And he was scanning the horizon with binoculars. And he said, this is the first time I've seen 27 shades of ochre. Always something special. He, of course, spent a lot of time here at the RASC Observatory and showing children, adults all around the world when visitors would come. He's very welcoming. You can see here an older shot of him in action during the day. He spent many, many hours as an interpreter here at the Science Center and doing solar stuff. But he'd also take time, head out to outreach events. So here he is on the promenade with, again, families who just happened to be walking by one starry night. Bruce grew up in Newfoundland, and so he always has a heart for the sea. So this is just one of a picture of Bruce by the sea that our fellow member Krista Stefan took. Also, friends. Bruce had many, many friends, and one of the things that is reassuring in these times is that you talk to someone and, it's like, he was my best friend. And he's like, oh, he was my best friend too. And you find out again and again as you run into a bigger circle that he was a very good friend for a lot of people. So, nice shot of him at the deck during one of the partial eclipses of the sun. There we go. Ross, do you want to say a couple of words? For those of you who know him for astronomy, might not know how encyclopedic he was for sports. I didn't have a mind for sports, so we never talked about it.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I first met Bruce about 25 years ago. It was actually through a music show, the Remember Shakti show that was at Windspear in 2002 or 2003. And as Bruce and I got to know each other, we realized we had a pretty incredible overlap with interests. So the picture on the left is just one I happened to find off his Twitter feed the other day. I know Al was looking for an Oilers connection, so I thought that was an appropriate one. And the shot on the right is from the 2017 Men's World's Curling Championship that was held just a little over 8 years ago. And of course, Bruce and I both loved curling, and we both loved baseball. So I was looking back through my text messages and I found this shot, and I actually found 3 of them. It took us 3 shots to get this right. And of course, we lined up the rings, and you can see Nicholas Sedin, second rink from the near here on the right there. And then you've got Clayton Kershaw on the mound pitching for the Dodgers. And this was, I believe, April 4th, 2017, so almost 8 years to the day. But it was a fun day, and when I read the email from Al that morning, I was just stunned. So lots of memories with Bruce, and I'm gonna really miss him. So, all right, Al. Okay.
Thanks. Next up, we have some haikus from Linda Neal, and she is online. And I think if Kate can unmute her, and Linda, if you're ready to go, hopefully the volume is good. And I've got your second set coming up right after this.
Hello, everyone. Are you able to hear me?
Yep. Oh,
Condolences to Bruce McCurdy's beloved family, peers, and friends. His focus on sky, hockey, numbers, truly an aficionado. Cult of hockey by the faithful, for the faithful, Oilers and beyond. Remembering Bruce, who found teachable moments, no matter how grim. His integrity, ability to connect, finding common ground with truth's gentle nudge, facts, figures, accuracy, so enchantingly. Exploring the moon, passion beyond description, meteors and more. Recoding data, sharing knowledge and much time. Respecting nature. A Renaissance man, departed far too soon, with many now grieving. The universe gains, who we mortals deeply lost. A unique person, since all of us made of precious stardust hope, Bruce, one with everything. For now, sad adieu. When we search with telescopes, fondly remember.
Thank you, Linda. And from Rick here, we have a picture of Bruce at the Northern Prairie Star Party from a couple of years ago. And another one. And with all of his orbital oddities, Bruce liked to talk about things lunar. And so here he is giving a talk about the lunar standstill, which we are currently experiencing in our skies over this past year, and something you'll hear more about from Luca and myself as we finish a big project. Is there anyone else who'd like to come up and say a few words? Yeah, Rick.
First of all, I'm very sad that Bruce passed away. He was a great friend of us all. So this is over 25 years ago. I wasn't a member or anything like that, but there was an event here and I was out front, and pretty well the first person I met was Bruce. And he was very, very knowledgeable and very welcoming and very kind. And after that, I went back and I thought about it and I said, I'm going to become a member of the RASC. And it was one of the best life decisions of mine. So as you can see, I was going to talk about his various interests in astronomy, but I think you already know that he had a huge interest, not only in astronomy, but also hockey and various other things. A life very, very full. So Bruce, as you can see, helped out on a couple of occasions with the Star Party. And, talking about the moon, and another pet love of his were meteors and meteor showers and meteorites, that kind of thing. But Bruce also absolutely loved our T-shirts. So right here or elsewhere from time, often he would show up here with one of the Northern Prairie shirts on, like so. So we'd have a little chat here, and then it quite often happened. He said, well, I have another, and he would pull up his shirt and there was another Star Party shirt underneath. So we would have quite a chuckle. He might have actually had 3 shirts. I don't know. But anyway, it was we'd have a little chuckle and then say goodbye and keep on visiting with other people. So that's my story, but I'd just like to say goodbye, my friend, and sad to see you go.
Yeah, behind you. Anybody else? as it's, we've already organized for a broader remembrance celebration of life on June 22nd, essentially summer solstice. So we'll be having a ceremony here in the Zeidler, overflow in the IMAX if necessary. The event is available for free, but need to register on Eventbrite. And there'll be solar observing, of course. Hopefully the weather will allow us. I was given, just to show here, a selected part of his astronomy writing. You're more than welcome to come and have a peek through it. Sherilyn Jarrig brought this, and so it's a neat collection. And my thoughts were, oh, this is probably only about 1/20th of what he's written. And if you include hockey, I'm sure it's more like 1/100th. We'll sort of end with two little bits. As I mentioned, he was someone who dealt with words a lot. In his writing, just about every article that he's written, he would have a neat quote, and I'll read this out. I know that I am mortal by nature and ephemeral, but when I trace at my pleasure the windings to and fro of the heavenly bodies, I no longer touch earth with my feet. I stand in the presence of Zeus himself and take my fill of ambrosia, food of the gods. I thought, just amazing how appropriate that was. Okay, so now I think we over to.
Sorry to interrupt.
Go, Go ahead.
I believe Bruce's son messaged saying that he'd like to speak as well.
Thank you. Kate, can you put Bruce on, please? Kevin, sorry.
Good evening, everyone. I saw this as a last minute thing that I'm sort of throwing together, so it's a little bit impromptu, but I just wanted to, on behalf of my family, thank you for the love and support that we've received from the center, from more people than we can count. My dad loved volunteering. My dad loved working for the center. He loved working with the RASC. He considered many in the room that you're in to be his closest friends. He was the truest of observers, a believer that life was the greatest gift. And I just wanted to share with you that how much of an impact that the RASC, the center, and the entire community surrounding it meant to him over the course of his life. And just share with you that although we're profoundly sad that he's gone, that he still is with us in all the things that we do and how we conduct ourselves. I wish all of you a good evening. Thanks for hearing me speak, and thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. I'll just end here with a very short musical number. I won't be doing the singing, don't worry. Most of the images you see are from Bruce's camera. Almost all of the shots are ones that he just sent me on his phone. And it's just, oh, Al, you'll really enjoy this picture. So hopefully I have a chance to do something more with some of his other more astronomical pictures. So here we go. Yep.
Across the river, across the river, across the river, I go. Across the river, I go.
Thank you. Goodbye, my friend.
Thanks, Alex. Thank you, Alex, for that presentation. I know it affected everybody that knew Bruce. I'm still having trouble coming to grip with it. We'll persevere and we'll continue on with the meeting. Okay, I don't think our treasurer has made it again tonight. I don't think, Jeff, if you're here, jump up, but I don't believe I saw you coming in. So we'll postpone Jeff information until his treasurer's report for next month. Next, this is being members night. We have two members who have stepped up to provide us some presentation tonight. First presentation being by Mark Zelsick on double stars through binoculars. And second one is from Brian Martin, Enchanted Expanses. So Mark, if you're ready to go.
Good evening. Just a couple of seconds here. We'll get everything ready. All right. So it's a clear evening. You're out with your pair of binoculars, maybe just in your backyard, maybe at the campsite, and you're wondering, what can I observe? How do I? So yeah, there's the moon. You point the binoculars to the moon and you can see the individual craters. The planets, if you point your binoculars at Mars or Jupiter, it will resolve into a little disk as opposed to a point of light like a star. You could look for star clusters and other deep sky objects. The Andromeda Galaxy through binoculars is absolutely spectacular. Or you can just pan through the opaque spine of the Milky Way at the endless stars. Another thing you can observe are double stars, which are stars which appear very close together. They're either binary systems actually gravitationally bound to each other, or they could be optical doubles, whereby the two stars are at far distances apart. They just look like they're close together. Double star observing is interesting because it's a test of both the equipment that you're using, either binoculars or of course, telescopes will allow you to see many double stars very close together, and it's also a test of your eyesight as well. Now, here we have the Big Dipper, the wonderful constellation that we can see all year round. Sometimes it's just sitting on the northern horizon like this. Other times, like right now, it's like you got to look straight up to see it. Sometimes it's balancing, when it's in the northwest, it's balancing on its handle, and in the northeast, it's kind of balancing on the bowl. So in the context of double stars, what's missing in this constellation right now? Second star in the handle. There we go. It's actually two stars. The bright one's Mizar. The faint one is Alcor. Probably the most famous double star. Certainly one of the widest ones that we can see as far as the separation of the stars. Star separation, double stars, is measured in seconds of arc. And of course, there's 60 seconds of arc in a minute of arc. And to get from minutes of arc to degrees, it's, what is it again? 60 again. Okay, thank you. So to go from, so in like in 1 degree, there's what, 3,600 seconds of arc. The separation between Mizar and Alcor is 708 seconds of arc, or approximately a fifth of a degree, or about half the diameter of the sun or the moon. So 708 it's kind of a benchmark for double stars. It's kind of the high watermark as far as being the greatest distance between stars. So if you have trouble remembering 708, just think Chicago. Of course, the area code for the suburbs of Chicago is 708. Everybody knows that. So through binoculars, my particular binoculars, which are 15 by 70 binoculars that I got from All-Star Telescope, 15 being the magnification, 70 being the diameter of the objective lens. With 15 by 70, your field of view is approximately 4 degrees. So this is what Mizar and Alcor look like through my binoculars, at least. Pretty far apart. But as we go to other double stars, this distance is going to be decreasing and decreasing. As you can see there, 708 seconds of arc separation. Zeta Ursa Majoris. Mizar is magnitude 2.2. Alcor is magnitude 3.9. Next in line is Sigma 1 and 2 Tauri, which it's kind of the two stars close together in that grouping towards the lower right. The bright star in the upper right, upper left is Aldebaran. So yeah, Sigma 1, 2 Tauri are part of the Hyades cluster. Pretty far apart, still far apart enough so you can see with the unaided eye. Pretty close together in magnitude, 3.4 and 3.9, separation of 337 seconds. You go to the constellation of Lyra, and they are replete with double stars. Of course, Vega itself is a double star, but the stars are pretty close together. But you also have Epsilon 1 and 2, Zeta, and then off to the right, Delta. Let's have a look at the view around Vega. The equilateral triangle formed by Vega at the top right. Epsilon is at the top left there. And Zeta is right at the bottom. So this is just the equilateral triangle part of Lyra. With a 4 degree field of view, is it possible to sneak over and get Delta in the same field of view so you get 3 double stars within the same field? Yes, indeed. Just move over a little bit and you can catch all 3. So Epsilon, again, is at the top, separation of 210 seconds. It's said that a person with average eyesight will be able to resolve epsilon. So that's kind of another benchmark as far as looking at double stars. And then down to the on the bottom, delta is actually a pretty wide separation at 630. So not much less than Mizar and Alcor. From Lyra, we go up to the head of Draco. This is kind of what it looks like right now in the evening sky in the northeast. Lyra's kind of low in the northeast. The head of Draco is a little higher up. Yeah, so Draco being the constellation of the dragon, and that's the head right there. And it kind of looks like a head a little bit. Certainly it did to Picasso. Now, one of those four stars is a pretty prominent double star. Do we know which one? How many say the bottom right? How many say the bottom left? How many say the top left? How about the top right? Okay, yay. As it turns out, maybe the other ones are too, but the most prominent one is the top right. And it is none other than New Draconis. It's kind of cool to see a star up there, naked eye, and it just looks like one star. And then get your binoculars on it, lo and behold, wow, there's two nice, nicely spaced stars, exactly the same magnitude, 4.9, 4.9, and the separation being 63 seconds of arc. So it's getting such that it's getting a little hard to separate even in binoculars. The best I've been able to do at this point is a little further down in the constellation, or further up in the constellation towards the Little Dipper, Draconis, magnitudes of 4.6 and 5.6, with a 30-second separation. So that's the best I've been able to do so far. Now, if you were to go back to the other one that's at 60 and this is at 30, the separation kind of looks the same anyway, but I mean, it's getting so close. I figured if you wanted to see if that distance between those two stars is accurate, considering that the field of view is about 4 degrees, so that's 1,400 seconds of arc. If you take the distance between those stars and put it across the field of view 480 times, that would be correct. Now, whether that actually is or not, I'm not sure. Lastly, we go to Beta Cygni, otherwise known as Alberio, at the tail of the constellation of Cygnus, the Northern Cross, or the Swan, magnitudes of 3.4 and 4.7, separation of only 35 seconds, so not much better than Draconis. Now, Alberio is famous for its color combination of orange and blue. When I observed this about a week ago, about 4 or 5 in the morning, with Cygnus getting pretty high in the sky, the brighter one was pretty obvious at orange. It was so close together I could just barely get the second star in at all, just seeing it, let alone what color it was. But with these prominent colors of orange and blue, and with these colors being, of course, the colors of the Oilers, I'd like to dedicate this little talk to our friend, the prolific Oilers blogger and amateur astronomer, Bruce McCurdy. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions for Mark? Nope, doesn't look like it. So. Oh, way back there.
How about Capella?
I'm not sure about Capella. I'm just going by the stuff that's really easy to see with binoculars. Does Capella have two stars that are pretty far apart, or?
If I recall correctly,
Does Capella have stars that are pretty?
Capella is a 6-star system, if I recall correctly. I believe it's a binary and a quadruple.
I see.
But I can see it from laying in bed in my bedroom, looking out the window.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really fun to read about and then look at. So,
okay.
Anyways, all right. Thanks, Mark.
Cool. Yeah, there's a lot of actual multiple star systems out there. Mizar has 6 stars itself, I believe. Yeah.
Anyone else have a question for Mark?
I do just quickly. Thank you. Did you hand hold those binoculars? Were they on a tripod or some kind of a mount?
Just handheld.
Really?
Just handheld, yeah. And then I just kind of drew from memory and then went on Photoshop and just inverted it. Yeah.
Anyone else? Just Mark, I have a more of a, I don't know if this is an old wide tale or something. I'm pretty sure Bruce McCurdy and I talked about this at one time, that back in the days of the old sailing ships, going across the Atlantic and in the Pacific, if you wanted to be a navigator on these ships, one of the tests was, could you see the double star in the Big Dipper?
Oh, okay.
If you could, you had a good chance of becoming a navigator. If you couldn't, you're done.
Interesting.
But like I said, I don't know if that's a true story or not, but something that Bruce and I talked about one time.
Okay. Very cool.
See.
All right.
Thank you, sir. See if I can mess it up. Our next presenter is Brian Martin, and his topic is Cosmic Threads and Enchanted Expanses. Got me wondering what it was all about, so we're going to find out.
I'm doing my job. Well, a piano player, an artist, and an astronomer walk into a bar. This sounds like one of Clayton's dumb jokes. Actually, it wasn't a bar. But about 7 years ago, a very good friend of mine, Joachim Zeidler, who's a gifted concert pianist and a music educator, my wife, Evelyn, who is an art educator and a fabric artist, and myself, we sat down and we talked a little bit about the images that I sometimes produce at the telescope. And we asked ourselves, what would it be like if an artist interpreted what I was looking at? And what would it be like if a pianist did the same thing? Joachim is not only a fine concert pianist, but he's one of Canada's best improvisers. He can sit down at a keyboard, and if you ask him to play something in the style of Brahms, bingo, he'll do it. So the projects that I'm going to talk about tonight are 2 projects. The first one we started about 7 years ago, and we called that Cosmic Threads. And it became an exhibition of original work, photographs, artistic work of my wife, and then Joachim's musical interpretations. And you see here a number of images. These are all done in fabric. These are done in various forms of textiles. And you might even recognize some of these objects, so full marks if you can get them all. And the idea was to look at how an artist sees what we as astronomers and amateur astronomers see when we image these things. Astro Imaging Corner is always one of the highlights of the meeting. I think we all are struck by just the sheer beauty of objects in the nighttime sky. So this became the genesis of 2 projects, the second of which we call Enchanted Expanses. And I just want to spend a few minutes showing these to you. And most of this will be without me talking. So in 2020, the Cosmic Threads exhibition was launched, and it was shown at the King's University in the Atrium Gallery. And it ran for 2 weeks because COVID happened about this time. So on the left, you see images of the exhibition without any people. It was easy to take pictures. But it was a show where we had canvases and prints of astronomical objects over against textile. And in the opening evening, Joachim performed about a 45-minute musical interpretation of many of these images. And we're going to hear a few snippets of that in just a second. And then we'll do the same thing with the Enchanted Expanses exhibition, which is actually ongoing right now. So I'm not going to say very much. other than with the next slide, Cosmic Threads was in 6 different movements. It's quite fascinating how Joachim starts this. I won't play the first part because the screen is black for about 20 seconds and there's one note being sounded occasionally. It represents the very early universe. And pretty soon there's 2 notes in dissonance with each other, and then more notes. And pretty soon with that clustering of notes, you can form harmony, you can form structure. So it was a musician's way of talking a little bit about the formation of structure in the early universe. We then move on to nebulae, to star clusters. There were 6 different aspects of the nighttime sky. So let's listen to just a short part of Cosmic Threads. Well, that was Cosmic Threads. And I should point out the fabric works are large. They're typically 4 or 5 feet on a side. And you can imagine how many hours it takes to produce one of those. The next show was one that we started about 3 years ago, and it was an attempt to try to capture the beauty of Alberta skies, both during the day and during the evenings. So we would drive around, primarily in eastern and southeastern Alberta. I was looking for interesting historical sites, old abandoned farms or schools or grain elevators. Evelyn was looking for large expanses with sky. And it became then the genesis for what we called enchanted expanses. And again, we turned the images over to Joachim, who then interpreted them. And what you're going to hear now are 5 different little segments from about a 45-minute, again, performance. The first one is a nostalgic look at some of the old buildings that we find abandoned on the prairies. And then a second one you'll probably recognize. It is from Copeland's Appalachian Spring, a Shaker hymn, a gift to be simple, and it celebrates the arrival of spring. Then the auroral storm that some has already been alluded to in the summertime last year will feature in a rather dramatic chordal sequence that Joachim put together. Then the last 2 have a political spin to them. One is a cry for reconciliation. You'll hear a Dakota hymn over against what's called the missionary hymn, kind of a reminder that the work of reconciliation is not yet done. And then the last one, I think, will speak for itself. We'll call it a cry for freedom. Thank you. Are there any questions, Doug?
Where is the exhibition?
The exhibition right now is at the King's University. It's in the Atrium Gallery, and it's showing until May the 16th. And anytime, the gallery is open. It's in the atrium area of the institution. Our first exhibition caused COVID. The second one started tariff wars. So I think this is the last one we're going to do. Actually, we are working on a third one right now.
Any other question? No, none. Thank you, Brian. That was very inspiring.
I had a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have done a little bit of weaving myself, like very little, but it is very difficult working with a hand loom. Well, and then also I've worked with, with a machine. But does your wife, does she program it on a computer, or does she do it with all the threads all manually?
It's all freehand.
Oh, I can really appreciate the incredible difficulty that must be. So I just wanted to say, I understand it, and she's must be a remarkable woman. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you. I'll pass that on to her.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, and seeing none, we will move on to Observers Group, Murray Hunt.
All right. Well, good evening. First of all, wow, that was awesome. A few things to say about the Observers Group. Introduction to stargazing in the universe. Okay, so we're continuing to do our in-person casual. The sky's clear or pretty clear. We have getting together, trying different sites around the city. We found quite a good place in Deer Mound Park and Sherwood Park. And again, notices will come out on Facebook and Astro email, and they may be canceled as well, just depending on the weather, of course. This is one of our evenings at by the University Farm, overlooking the University Farm, and you can see, you may be able to see the crescent way down there in the middle of the picture. Oh, one thing I'd also like to direct your attention to this week's month's Stardust. Alistair Ling wrote a great article on the Observing Group, what we've been up to, and he goes into a good article on the T Corona Borealis, hopefully soon to be the blaze star. And there's good instructions there where to look for it. It should be able to be seen with binoculars when it does blaze. And it's a really good time now before it happens to get familiar with that area of the sky. I won't go into any more detail because it's in the article. But when it does blaze, if you're familiar with that area of the sky, you will see it in your binoculars quite well. The other thing one of the things we've been following is Mars and Jupiter, but this is really great with it being in Gemini, Castor Pollux. This was April 22nd, February 22nd, our first casual get together. And that's where Mars was in relation to Castor and Pollux. Even naked eye, you can pick out those two stars in the Mars very, very easily. And then as each progression of our get-togethers, you can see that angle between Castor and Pollux and the Mars changing. This is tonight, basically. Mars is past a straight line now, Castor Pollux to Mars. And by May 4th, if you follow this along, Mars will pass right by M44, the Beehive cluster. It'll be right in the northwest corner of that cluster. And the Beehive cluster is about 70 seconds. So, 70 minutes wide. Yeah, it's over a degree wide. So you'll be well seen in binoculars, that and Mars. And the final slide is C2025 F2 Swan. And I must admit, I know nothing much about this, but it is apparently visible in the early morning skies around 4 a.m. and will soon become a low object in the northwest evening. One other thing I want to mention then is April 23rd. That's a week. This coming Wednesday is our next Zoom, 7 to 8 p.m. And everyone's welcome to join in on that Zoom. So thanks very much. That's it.
Thank you, Mark.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Last thing before the break will be our little trivia quiz here. I've got a correction to make to last month's trivia. One of the questions on that was how many moons did Saturn have? Now, we had that meeting on March the 10th. And at that time, there were 82 confirmed moons in Saturn. Then 2 days later, NASA made me look kind of goofy because they didn't announce that indeed Saturn had 274 moons. A little bit of an increase there. So I don't apologize for making that error, but 2 days later, I was corrected. Okay, for today, how many constellations are there? How long does each season last on Neptune? And which are the most common types of galaxies in the universe? So after our break, we will come back to that and we'll continue on with the rest of the program, which will include the Astro Imaging Corner, some announcements, and whatever else we can think of. So we'll take a quick 10-minute break and come back and start her up again. Okay. Moving right along. We got some center announcements we have to make. And Susan Bram has an update on NPSP. So I'm inviting her up to the podium. And I think Rick, her other half, will be joining her. Maybe not.
Thanks, Clayton. I have a couple of announcements. The first relates to Northern Prairie Star Party. I'm one of the 6 members of our Northern Prairie Star Party planning team, and we've been moving ahead on various aspects of this year's event that will take place at Black Nugget Lake from Tuesday, September the 16th to Sunday, September 21st. So Mark your calendars. That's when we will be having it this year. Online registration for this year's Northern Prairie Star Party starts on Monday, May the 5th. As you know, last year we introduced for the first time online registration. Big thanks and shout out to Dave Mussel, who designed our registration system, and it worked extremely well for us and meant that our administration was way easier. He's tweaked it a little bit based on your feedback, and so it'll be up and running at 9 o'clock on Monday, May the 5th. Campsites are limited and reservations are on a first come, first served basis. Prices for the event registration and the campsites remains the same as last year. For Northern Prairie's Star Party 2025, we are delighted that Alan Dyer, one of Canada's best known and also most prolific astronomy authors and astrophotographers, has accepted our invitation to be our keynote speaker on Saturday, September 20th. And Alan is here tonight. Alan, where are you? Yes.
You have to be there.
We are just thrilled. And Alan has a long history in astronomy here in Alberta, both here in Edmonton and in Calgary. He'll be talking about the Northern Lights, the science behind the spectacle. In addition, he's offering a 90-minute workshop on Friday afternoon on how to create great nightscape images. Alan is here at our meeting, as he has already told us. And we welcome you, Alan, and we're looking forward to seeing you in September.
Looking forward to it. I'm my first NPSB, and I'm really looking forward to it.
And Alan's a veteran of many star parties, but we never seem to snag him because Southern Alberta usually has the star party the same weekend as here, but we're lucky this year. We've also confirmed another speaker for this year's program, Kwan Kun Chun. Dr. Chin is assistant professor at the Augustana campus at the University of Alberta. She is an astrophysicist involved in research that combines computer simulations with observations to understand how the first galaxies and supermassive black holes formed and how they drive the reionization of the intergalactic medium. We will provide more details on her presentation. Rick and I are actually talking to her later this week. When available, we will be posting them on our website. And we're also working to confirm a third speaker in the next few weeks. So check the website, Northern Prairie Star Party website, and the next 2 issues of Stardust for updates regarding t-shirts, door prizes, volunteering, and more. And if you have any questions or need more information, please talk to me or one of the 5 other members, my husband Rick, and Marion and Alan Hobbs, and Dave and Carol Mussel. So that's my announcement for Northern Prairie. And if you have any questions or need more information, please talk to us after the meeting. The other thing I wanted to mention was that Rick and I just got back from a 2-week trip into British Columbia, and we had the pleasure of visiting and having a 3-hour tour of the Dominion Radio Astrophysical Observatory in southern British Columbia in the Okanagan Valley. It was a fascinating tour. They are open to the public on weekends between now and the 26th of October from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And if you're in the area, you're deciding to take a trip to BC this summer or a wine tour or whatever, maybe not with the wine in hand, we highly recommend that you take this in. It's fantastic. And I grabbed a bunch of brochures on my way out after the tour, and I'll just leave them here on the refreshment table here, and you're welcome to take one. We may provide a report on our visit in the next meeting or two, but in the interim, I didn't want to let these sit at home. I thought you might find them interesting. And that's all I have to report.
We have some volunteer opportunities coming up. And May 3rd is a big one at the International Day of Astronomy. And I believe we have somebody who wanted to speak briefly about that, Mr. Robertson.
Yes, May 3rd is International Astronomy Day on Saturday. We will be here, as always, in the lobby of TWS with the table set up. Hopefully the weather will cooperate and we'll have the observatory open for solar viewing of Venus, and possibly a few bright stars. Now, we have posted on Dave has posted on the volunteer portal a call for volunteers. We'll take as many as possible. We need about 3 or 4 to run the table, and it runs from 12 till 4. So if we get 2 people to do a 2-hour shift and then 2 to do the second hour, that'd be great. If anyone is interested in doing some sidewalk astronomy at the promenade or one of the other usual places, I think End of Steel Park, that would be great. Let me know and we can publicize it. I'll be putting something on our Facebook page fairly soon. Also, if anyone here or out in Zoom land or will be watching the recording when I post it tomorrow or the next day, who are observatory volunteers, we could use a few of you guys on Saturday afternoon in the observatory. Now, Frank told me about something coming at the end of May. Stardust? Yeah. Do you want to talk about that? But we want to... Okay. He's asked if we could supply some volunteers for that, and Frank will give us some details. And I think that's it.
Yeah, Stardust is a new exhibit we're bringing in for May, starting May 31st. It explores the James Webb Space Telescope and the images, and has a little bit about birth of the universe, Big Bang ideas, and of course, expansion of the universe, things like that. It'll be starting again at the end of May, running until about the second week of September. And during that run, I'm trying to get some special events to go along with it. So getting the RASC out for the members' night, as well as for the opening day of the exhibit, very much like doing an astronomy day here, having them come out and helping us out with that opening event would be wonderful. So talk to Jeff a little bit more about our plans and see if we can actually get some RAC members out for the opening of Stardust. Thank you.
Jeff got something else?
Forgot one thing. Also, we need some volunteers to do some telescope help. I already asked Alistair. He said, okay. And we'll set up the tent next to the deck, or if it is raining or whatever, we'll set it up inside. And members of the public can bring their telescopes, and if they're having difficulty trying to figure out or have some issues, and our people will sort them out. So we need some volunteers for that too. Thanks.
I just told my piece. Okay, so again, the scope clinic will be set up as well. So anybody's interested in volunteering, please go to the volunteer portal and check that and put your name in for the different areas that we're going to be looking for some help. Thank you. Next is the RASC General Assembly is later this month, and Alistair has something he would like to say about that. Okay.
The assembly this year is focused on things like astrotourism, beginning astronomers. So those of you, especially in our Observing Basics group, there's 2 sessions on the NOVA program, which is New Observers to Visual Astronomy. And also talk about citizen science, and there'll be a segment from the citizen science for beginners. So that's April 26, 27, all virtually. And $30 gets you into all the sessions. And there's also a public talk later in the evening. And that'll be from the CASTOR program, Canadian Space Science. So neat sessions on things that have to do with looking up at the sky. So that's the 26th and 27th. So we'll be happy to see you there. And one of the things that happens, especially in the evening sessions, they've got a virtual, it's called Gather Town, and you just you can walk, you've got a little avatar, and you can walk up to groups of people and talk as if you're almost in the same room. Meet old friends, make new friends, and enjoy the General Assembly. Okay.
Okay, and we do have one more person. Murray Paulson has a few words he'd like to say as well.
Thank you. I've got a couple slides here, but the thing is that because the sky goes away so quickly in May because of our summer all twilight zone, I have set up Astronomy Day in St. Albert to be 1 month earlier. And so our slides will get rolling here in a sec. There we are. Anyway, I set up Astronomy Days in St. Albert a month before the international one because I like to be able to get the little kids to come and join us. And this year was good. We had a night where the aurora flared up, and the Friday night was just great. You can see people out on the concourse by the river in St. Albert looking up at the aurora. And the next day I did some solar stuff in front of City Hall, and I told a lot of people about the Astronomy Day. And the next evening we looked at the moon, Jupiter, Mars, and a bunches of other stuff. We had a really good showing of people. I think the first night we probably had 15 to 25 people. The second night we were mobbed. We were so busy all night. And the final people we were driving them away at about 11:30 at night. It was great. Over in this photograph, you can see a big pair of binoculars on the very far right. Those are my 20 by 100s. I had a little 6-year-old kid try to climb up them and almost knocked them over. Fortunately, his father was close enough that he caught the binoculars and the kid before they hit the ground. But anyway, Sharon Tansey is in the middle of the shot, facing away from the camera. And we had a couple volunteers from, I think Stephen and another gentleman came out and helped us on Saturday night. So it was a really good turnout, and a lot of really friendly people. They were quite happy to see astronomy in St. Albert. So anyway, thank you very much.
Thanks, Murray. I sent out a request last month looking for 2 positions on council to be filled. One was the social media director, and the other was for vice president. We had success in getting someone for the social media director. Zeidler has taken on that role from Josephine. So thank you, Jade. I know that Josephine and Dave have been in contact with each other over the last few days, and I think we have a seamless path from one to the other, so we'll see how that goes forward. And thank you, Zaid, for stepping up. Still missing one person on the council that we'd like to see filled sooner rather than later, and that is the position of vice president. So if anybody's interested, they can drop me an email at president@edmontonrasc.com. Okay. Book of the month. We'll bring up Mark Zeltick again and kind of resemble what his original talk was about.
Hi again. Yeah, highly recommended. Highly recommended. There's a huge table with reference to maps, and of course the maps are with the authors being James Similani and Will Tyrion. The maps are from Will Tyrion's Sky Atlas 2000, all in a coil-bound book. Really easy to reference. So there's a big table with a lot of the fainter double stars. The ones that I observe in binoculars are in a smaller table, kind of towards the front of the book, that has just the brighter ones. And that was easy to pick through. It looks like there's probably about maybe 3 dozen the brighter, farther apart ones that are suitable for binoculars. But you get for telescopes, there's a multitude of objects. So yeah, it's a cool book. As it turns out, the library is being used for storage tonight, so it's not available. There were some free books. There's still a couple left over there. But the only book available tonight I actually have here, and it's this one. So I'm sitting over there. So if you're interested, just come after the meeting and lend it out. Great, thanks.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, Astro Imaging Corner. We have a guest host tonight, Mr. Dave Muscle. So if Dave would come up and, oh, there you are. Snuck up on me.
I did. Thanks, Clay. Yeah, Tom couldn't be here. Couldn't be here tonight. He had a very special event, his wife's birthday. So he asked me if I would stand in for him. So, Astro Imaging Corner, this is episode 145. And so we do this every month. And I just want to say quickly that Astro Imaging Corner isn't just for the people with cameras. It's for people who also draw or paint or find other ways to represent the sky. The images can be any of those things. And we'd love to see more of that type of content in Astro Imaging Corner. So if you are an artist or a painter or some other expressive artist, you can be part of this as well. So yeah, first up is an image by Brian Martin, and this is an exquisite image. I love this image. If I could get a little bit of light here, I've got to be able to. Oh, here we are. I've got the notes. It's okay, Frank. So Brian says, as a good start to galaxy season, here is an image of M51, the Whirlpool Galaxy, taken in mid-March and combined with data from 2023, a total of 11 plus hours in LRG and B and hydrogen alpha using the ZWO 1600 mm camera on a C14 at 2,300 millimeters of focal length on a custom-made German equatorial mount. Now, just take that in for a second. This is a custom-made mount, a computerized mount, and with it, Brian was able to capture something hundreds of, well, I don't know what the distance is from here to M51, but it's a long ways, many, many hundreds of light years away, and billions of stars. And so the image is amazing, but the object is even more amazing. So you can dwell on that. That's what I really like about this section of the event. Next is an image by Stephen Portillo, and this is a shot of the aurora from a place in a spot in Edmonton. This image from Stephen is a photo that he took during the astronomy day in St. Albert on April 5th. He says, I liked how Orion was framed above the path with people sitting on the bench to the right. I took this photo with astrophotography mode on the Google Pixel 8 Pro. And the next one also from Stephen. His second image is of the aurora on April 4th as seen from Blackfoot. He took this photo with night sight mode. Yeah, that's what it says on the Google Pixel 8 Pro. This one from Warren Finley, he says, here's a single capture that I took with a Canon R6 24 to 70 millimeter lens at 24 millimeters, a 30-second exposure at f2.8. So that's Warren standing still for 30 seconds, if that's possible. The photo is of me at my telescope in the southeast of Arizona at about 3 a.m. on March 28th, 2025, when I observed my 3,920th NGC object, thereby reaching the halfway point in completing the entire NGC list. Coincidentally, that same night, I also observed the final object to complete the brightest 2,500 northern NGC list. That is something. This one is from Josephine Christensen, and she says, this was taken with the Galaxy S24 Ultra in night mode on a tripod, South Cooking Lake area, March 21st, 9:19 p.m., edited a bit in Adobe Lightroom app. Beautiful. Nicely composed, I like the way that's laid out. And this is from Ray Weens. Ray has really made some amazing progress as an astrophotographer in the past couple of years, but he's on a roll. He was just back from a trip to Arizona where he had nothing but sky. It was just great to hear about. This image here is a 4-part mosaic of the Horsehead Nebula and Orion's Nebula with a portion of the Barnard's Loop. It is 20 exposures at 90 seconds each and 10 exposures at 180 seconds for each panel, resulting in a total of 4 hours of exposure. It's taken with a QHY 367 color camera mounted on an ASCAR 300 millimeter f5 telescope fitted with the excellent Antlia 4-quad filter mounted on a ZWO AM5 mount. That's a great piece of kit. Moving on. The next image, also from Ray, is of the Seagull Nebula. This is the Seagull Nebula, which is 26 subframes at 300 seconds each, taken on the QHY 367. Again, attached the ASCAR, the same ASCAR scope that he had before, the FRA 300 Pro 60 millimeter f5 quad quintuplet APO telescope on top of the AM5 mount, and stacked an astropixel processor and processed in Lightroom. Great shot, Ray. Very dramatic. Now, this is a set of images from, I can't see it here. I believe this is Hans. Yeah. Yes. And so here we have, he's saying it's been a good Galaxy season thus far. So here are a few shots from the last month or two. All were taken with the same equipment, the Edge HD 9.25 with a 0.7x reducer at 1650 millimeters at f7 on an Ioptron CEM 120 using the off-axis guiding. The camera was the ASI 2600 MC Pro, which is a color camera with a UV IR cut filter in for RGB mostly, but also he also used the H-alpha 03 filter to mix in some of the red H-alpha areas of these galaxies. Exposure times were around 300 seconds. I'd have to scroll down to see more here, see if I can get that. Also, there were several frames that he took at 30 seconds to create an HDR star map. So what you can see here is the culmination of a lot of very sophisticated mature approach to collecting the data. And so you can see the result here. There's beautiful images of the galaxies, very well controlled noise, and great color. It's an amazing image and I think quite an accomplishment. So that's the first one. And he's got another one here as well. I guess that is, what is this? Oh, this is M106 and Friends. It's about 11 hours of RGB data and 3 hours of HA and O3. And then a third one here, also from Hans. This is Hans's Deep Field, and this is an amazing image. This is the Coma cluster, Able 1656, about 10.5 hours of RGB and 2 hours of H-alpha and O3. And one step beyond with this particular image, Hans says this is the same image, only annotated, which outlines a lot of the galaxies that are visible in this image, some 300 of which are present and visible here. So an amazing image. And so you can see the orange and the green circles and square and X's. Those are the locations of galaxies in this image. This is an image from Alan Hobbs, recently taken in Arizona, taken at the Casitas de Gila guest house in New Mexico near Silver City on March 24th. The astrophoto has 20 subs of 120 seconds each. 40 minutes total integration time. This is taken with the RASA 8 and a ZWO ASI 2600 MC camera on a Skywatcher EQ6R Pro mount. The Cat's Paw Nebula. It was processed in PixInsight and Photoshop. And then this image, also from the same location at the same time. This is Mary and his wife at her telescope working on her Messier list under New Mexico skies. So that's a fantastic image too. Now this is the final image in the list here, and this is one from Bruce McCurdy, sent to me by Tom Owen, and this is on behalf of Bruce. And this was taken on December 15th, 2015. And I think it reflects Bruce's unique and keen eye for composition. He was with Alistair at the time, and here is a portion of what his commentary says. I have to scroll down for that. This image of this morning's Moon-Venus conjunction, which, pardon me, you can see right just over the shoulder of the pyramid there. This image of the Moon-Venus conjunction is zoomed out by a factor of 28 millimeters instead of 300 to show the foreground scene on the home planet. It is dominated by a pyramid of the Muttart Conservatory, which effectively slashes the image diagonally in half, making for a rather cool composition, in my opinion. It was interesting how similar the colors were of the artificial light inside the Muttart versus the rising colors of nautical twilight, something apparent by eye and captured not badly by the lens. Adding to the ambiguity is the odd fact that the trees in the image are inside the pyramid. The construction fence that mars the picture played a rather large role in preventing Alistair and me from setting up at the preferred location a little further back of the pyramids. So this will have to do. That's from Bruce McCurdy. And that's Astro Imaging Corner for tonight. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, we'll go now to our trivia answers. So how many constellations are there? How many people got 88? Not bad, not bad. How long did each season last on Neptune? Anybody get more than 40 years? Yeah, I couldn't handle 40 years of winter, that's for sure. Which are the most common types of galaxies in the universe? The elliptical. Everybody get that one? Good. I'm glad. Okay. So we heard about the observers group meetings. Murray, he gave us an update, a very good update on what they're planning over the next little while. So keep an eye on what's happening there. The cartoon of the month was sent in by John Woolley. So I don't know if you can read that clearly or not, but it's lately I've been thinking that maybe all those satellite photos are real and the Earth isn't flat. Well, okay. I think it's a shot at the Flat Earth Society. Okay. So finally, our next monthly meeting will be on Monday, May 12th, same place, same time. And if anybody else has anything they want to add for tonight, speak now. Nobody? Okay. 9:38 and a half, and we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everybody, for attending.